Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back. Thank you so much for your patience while I just went and got a glass of water and then died. We are on for our fourth panel of the night. There's still another one to go. And I did notice we got a few more donations while I was off getting a drink. We're at £1,235, which is incredible. Out of 2,500. We're just over halfway through the stream, and we are now nearly halfway to the goal, which is incredible. My name is Paige, or Arthurimis, whichever you would prefer. The name is a mixture of arthritis, which I have, and Greek mythology, which I love. The charity we are raising for today is called Mermaids. They are a UK-based charity which benefits trans and gender non-conforming youth and their parents. So if your kid comes up to you and says, Dad, I think I like boys, and you're like, I don't know how to deal with this, then you can go to the Mermaids and be like, hey, my kid has got a question. How do I deal with this? And they will help non-judgmentally, without pushing any agendas, without any kind of bias. They are happy to provide you the information you need and the help that your kid may need. So they are a fantastic charity, and they've done a lot of good work. They're also, as we found out earlier today, a brilliant source of news, as we found out that they recently released information that the UK has stopped blockers to trans youth in the UK. It's no longer going to have to go through a court, which was the case for a little while. So they're absolutely fantastic. And if you do want to support them, it is !donate. But I am joined by this incredible group of people who I'm so excited to talk with. And it's all newcomers to the stream. Oh my goodness. It's amazing. So, my darlings, welcome in and thank you for joining us. Let's just kick off nice and easy. And we have got Shiny Pen up first. Hi, Shiny.
Hi, how's it going?
Not too bad. How is it going for you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited, actually. It's the first time I'm involved in something like this. So, as y'all know, as you heard, I'm Shiny Pen, or you can call me Shiny. I am a trans masculine Filipino American individual. I stream a variety of games here on Twitch. And let's see, I've come out as trans, and I've been on hormone replacement therapy for about 7 years now. So I have quite a bit of experience under my belt. um, and being a part of the discussion is really important to me, because what I've been trying to really do with my stream is bring a lot of representation to being a trans masculine and also being Filipino and Asian. Because navigating through my journey, it was very few,
Yeah.
far and few, finding someone who was very much like me in my trans journey. Um, and some fun facts about me: I am an artist. I do like to paint and draw, even though I haven't painted in quite a while, but I still am an artist nonetheless.
Yep.
Um, I love bow ties. I have a bow tie collection, and I still don't think I have enough bow ties left. Um, I also really enjoy wearing hats, so it's very rare you will not see me wearing a hat.
I was going to say, the chat is immediately going wild for your entire vibe. They are
Oh,
loving it. So, yes, I can absolutely agree. I turned on the chat and was just like, holy shit, everyone looks amazing. And I've just been like, where's my giant cardigan? So, yes. So, 3 fun facts about you.
me?
Yeah.
Oh, 3 fun facts again? I'll share them again.
Yeah, I want more facts.
You want more facts?
Yeah.
Okay, a fun fact. So, in relation to me being an artist, I was fortunate enough to be featured on the front cover of a local magazine around their Pride edition. And I had a nice 2-page spread. So, that was really awesome for me as an artist. Another fun fact is I was involved with my local Pride Center for a few times. Um, they had a little, what are they called? They had a little program where they did discussions about at the local college here, talking about creating safe spaces for the LGBTQ community, and I was fortunate to be asked to be one of the speakers,
Awesome.
speaking to the administration and staff and students and everything like that. Another fun fact is that I absolutely love food, and I'm always snacking and eating on my stream,
Perfect. What is
like
your
all
favorite
the time.
snack?
My favorite snack, that's
Or like,
hard.
have you got one on your desk like right now?
Oh, right now, what I have actually right now is this like these like Mexican candies. I don't know, I just found them at a gas station and I've been addicted to them.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you very much. And where can people find you online if they want to come and hang out?
Well, you can find me primarily now on Twitter. My Twitter handle is also Shiny Pen, and on Twitch, Shiny Pen.
Brilliant, nice and easy. If anyone does want easy access as well, if you type in exclamation mark multi MULTI into the chat, you will get everyone's Twitch links, and from there, obviously, you can find Twitter and things like that as well. Thank you very much, Shiny. Our very next guest, and I'm so excited because normally I'm like, oh yeah, this person's been on before. I'm like, it's all new friends. It's amazing. Next guest is Atypical Queer, who's been making fucking waves on Twitter. Almost every day I'm seeing like hard work and grind and like really fucking going for it, which is super admirable. And it's been so cool to see their journey. I saw tweets where it was like, I'm at 500 followers, and now they're like, yeah, I'm at 1,200. And like, fuck you. So I, I, I
I
am.
hate you. How dare you?
I've
Yo.
been loving seeing it. So hello, my love. Could you
Hey,
tell
how
us
are
your
you?
name and what your pronouns are?
Absolutely. I am Ace or atypical queer. That's A underscore typical queer, and my pronouns are she, her.
Perfect. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Who am I? Who is Ace or Ash? I don't care. I am a black queer content creator. I don't want to just say I'm a streamer because I'm coming out with a podcast actually with Shiny. He's one of my closest friends. So I'm happy to be on this panel with this guy.
Yes.
So we're expanding our brand a little bit, and so with saying that, yeah, content creator. I am black. I'm queer. I do a lot of horror streams. I also was born and raised in the country of Jamaica, so I'm an immigrant as well. I've lived in, and these are my three fun facts. I've lived in Jamaica, Buffalo, New York, Queens, New York, Brooklyn, New York, Albany, New York. And I think I said Illinois, but Illinois as well. I am because I've had a really rough work week. So I'm really happy to be here to talk about diversity because a lot of the issues have been surrounding that. And in doing that, I want to say something that I'm proud of myself for. I graduated undergrad a year early with a degree in political science, and I have a
Heck
master's in
yeah.
public administration. So that's pretty cool. And I'm learning how to play acoustic guitar.
Fuck yeah, that is awesome.
Awesome.
And yeah, I started
That's a
learning
hit.
acoustic when I was 15. So yeah, prepare your fingers because ow, my hands still aren't the same on either side. So,
I agree. I
but yeah,
completely agree.
congratulations on your studies and like bloody graduating early. That is incredible. Well done. That's
I
super
appreciate
good to
that. Thank
hear.
you.
So, why are you taking part in today's discussion apart from the little bit you've already mentioned?
So the main reason I'm here is to stand in the gap and speak for those that look like me. There's a lack of conversation around Black and queer individuals. And like I've said, I represent a multitude of different intersectionalities, diversity points, whatever you want to call it. So I want to speak up and let people know that you can look like me and do the things that I do and become bigger than I'm aiming to be.
Awesome, excellent, and yeah, that's absolutely why I wanted to branch out with this stream as well, and actually try and reach more people in the LGBTQ plus sphere because there are so many people and so many people that don't look like me, and that was so important for me to actually want to reach out and be like, yeah, we are all in this sphere. Everyone needs to be here.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for coming and being here as well because obviously like I'm an intersectionality in other places and I know how fucking difficult it is to constantly be talking about all these different places and making sure you belong, so I understand a bit of what we're going to be talking about today. So yeah, thank you very
Absolutely.
much. And where can people find you online if they want to come and hang out?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me. I really appreciate being here. And to find me online, it's a underscore typical queer on everything: Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, whatever.
Perfect. And yep, again, exclamation mark multi in the chat and that will get you to everyone's links, which is excellent. The next person we have is marvelous both in name and in personality, and I fucking love their hair. Hello, marvelous Missouri.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, love the hair.
Well, it's a
What do you look
fabulous
good?
style, so. So,
So okay, so
yeah.
I'm. So you would, I'll let you go.
Nope. It's fine. You were going to answer my question anyway. Go ahead.
Oh, the name. Okay. So hi, I'm Zuri. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a trans MTF. content creator and streamer as well. Besides doing streaming, I also am a filmmaker now. Currently, just moved out to LA.
Oh.
I just moved out from Texas, and only been here a week. This has actually been a week and one day I've been here,
Oh wow.
and
Whoa.
I hope I don't look too tired. I've been on set
No.
for the past 12 hours, past 5 days
That's incredible.
working.
That's
And
awesome.
You look great, so it's fine.
but I was like, but I told the person, my director, in my department, it's like I gotta do this. It's like no worries, you can be a little bit late today,
Oh,
but
bless.
I'm glad to be here and with everyone.
We're super glad to have you. And everyone on this panel is like doing so many fucking incredible things that it's so exciting to hear everybody's stories. And just like, you're a filmmaker, and we've got artists, and we've had musicians, we've had literal like psychologists and like psychiatrists. It's so incredible, because obviously we're coming here today to talk about being an LGBTQIA plus person, but there's so much more to everyone than just that, and I think that's what's really important to discuss as well. So that is super cool. So Zuri, why are you taking part in today's discussion? Why was this important to you?
I thought it was because I watched the previous discussion with the that you had held, like with and just seeing all the creators and just having all these people just come out and speak about their stories and what they've gone through, and just kind of being a part of that, and kind of just bringing awareness, and kind of just talking like where I've been, and then also hearing where everyone else's like their life journey has been, and just kind of just with that, it'd be just a great experience, and just a way to just expand my own like knowledge. Like it's just like definitely give me like educate myself more about other people's life experience besides just my own, because I feel like in my own I still feel very new, even though I've been a part of the community for so long.
There's always more to learn. It's fun to keep learning stuff, and like keep feeling like you're improving, and even being in the LGBTQIA plus, we can still be each other's allies because we don't all have the exact same experience. And so I think it is really important, exactly as you've said, to keep learning about each other and addressing things we don't know. But that being said, can you tell us 3 fun facts about you?
3 fun facts. I'm gonna go with the main fun fact that I always like putting out, is that I've worked. So whenever I was still back in Texas, back in 2017, I worked on The German Bachelor whenever it was in town to film, and I just think that's always funny just to say, because
Oh wow.
we were like one of the few like English speaking people on the crew, so everyone else spoke German. So even whenever you're rolling, everyone was just speaking German. So it was very fun to kind of just try and figure out what you're supposed to do. Yeah. Now I got to think of 2 other fun facts.
That's all right.
Actually,
Um,
prepared.
Paired with it. I always try to prepare.
I
Then there's
couldn't
like
think of it.
all of it goes out right out the window, right when asked. But besides German Bachelor, I always like want to say filmmaker, but because that's just always been my thing, just making films and just doing content creation. That's like I never made like
If
and
that's
doing like animated music videos as well. Like for
that's
that's
Oh wow.
and I like
Really dope,
and I
actually.
and like editing, like that's always been my passion. Like that's even before I did streaming, that was like my thing, and like I don't really promote it as much, but it's just something I like doing, and kind of just like let people find it. And I feel like I'm
That's all
gonna
right.
blank, and I don't want to take up too much time. If I'm
No.
like,
You are perfectly valid and part of this discussion because we want you to share your time with us. So take the time that you need. We've got it.
okay. Damn. So let's see. Let's go think of one more.
If not, we can always come back to it later and we can go on to the
Yeah,
next bit.
looking back. Let me just think about it. I'll come back.
Take a minute. Don't you worry. But where can people find you online if they want to come and hang out and learn a bit more about you?
I think so. The best place to find me is on Twitter and Twitch at Marvelous Miss Zuri, and those are the best. Those 2 best places. And then I'm also on Instagram, but I don't post there as much.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
that's
no,
like marvelous MS, Missouri.
yeah, I know the feeling. Like I keep trying to post on Instagram, but then it's just like, oh, it's just another photo of my cat again.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god. So, alrighty. Well, we will come back to you if we have more fun facts. People always find more things as we go, so don't you worry. We will get there. We will get there. But thank you so much for your introduction. The next person is also a super bloody lovely person who I've had so much fun talking to, and it is so lovely to have them here today. Hello, Ziggy Vertigo.
Oh, I didn't know I was next. You got me off guard. Hi. Uh,
It's what I plan to do.
okay.
Don't you worry.
Okay. Well, mission accomplished. Okay, so I'm Ziggy Vertigo, but I also answer to Amelia or Amy.
Mhm.
I go by she, they, and bi and trans. I've been out for a little bit over 2 months now. And I am a streamer, though I'm currently on hiatus due to some hardware issues. And I mod for several streamers, including Anxiety, who is a mental health streamer who I have so much respect for.
Anxiety is
And
very cool.
yeah, Anxiety is amazing. Like I just joined her mod team a couple weeks ago, so I got there just in time for when she front paged, and there were over 26,000 people in the chat at one point, so that was kind of stressful. And then
Yeah.
the last character trait. It's important to know, if you know me, then you need to know that the jokes never get good, but there will always be puns. There will always be
I love
puns.
puns.
That's all right. We have had a lot of them today, so I don't think they're going to stop. I don't think they're going to stop. You are absolutely fine there. So, I mean, that's pretty
Good.
much covered a little bit about you as well. So, why did you want to come and be part of today's discussion, apart from me approaching you about it?
Well, I mean, that was the main thing, but it's I know both mental health and just generally being an ally was very important to me. And then when I realized that I'm actually, on the rainbow, that it's good to talk about what my experience is versus what everyone else has been going through. Like for me, you were talking about earlier about how you had a good experience on coming out, and a lot of people don't. And I did, and the thing is that made me kind of feel sort of guilty knowing that people have had these like nightmare experiences, and then on my end it just kind of went
Yeah.
super smooth.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what we were discussing before, because you don't have to have experienced tragedy or anything horrible to be valid as part of LGBT, because those who have had horrible experiences, that's what they've been working for you not to have those. People don't want you to go through their trauma. They want you to have a better experience. And so if you have, no one is wishing you'd had other, and it's merely self-guilt, because I know that as well, feeling bad that other people have suffered and you didn't have to, but that's what everyone's been working towards. So I think people are more happy for you.
Yeah, I've gotten so much support. I I met Zuri through Nivina, and through Nivina's community, that's actually where I've gotten the most support since I've come out, because they've all been there for me, and it's made trying to understand things and learn more a lot easier. So I truly appreciate them.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Yeah, and Nivna
Gonna
was
make me
on
cry.
earlier.
Gonna make me cry.
It's all right. We've had a few of them. I've literally had to take off my makeup and put glasses on because the first two people that spoke just ran the eyeliner everywhere.
Oh,
But that's fine.
You lost your eyeliner right away whenever the K was like, I threw a guy at another guy.
Don't
Yeah.
say.
That was amazing.
That was a moment.
We need to hear that story.
It was consensual though.
It was
That's what she
consensual
said.
man throwing, as far as we understand. Yes, it was. We'll get the whole
Consensual
story from
man
Kay one
throwing.
day.
It was like a caber toss, except with people.
Anyway, my darling. So, Ziggy, do you have 3 fun facts about you that you'd like to share?
Yes, I could probably say a lot more than 3 facts,
Hey, go
but
for it.
let's go with just some of the really fun ones. I used to co-run a popular Invader Zim website. It was called Galactic Conquest.
Weird.
There's not really a lot to talk about with that, although I really miss it
I
because it was
loved it.
really fun doing the interviews and such. Like, just kind of a sub story with that is at one point I approached one of the members of the cast, and he already knew who we were. He's like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of you guys.
Heck yeah.
Sure, I'll do an interview." And that felt really good.
I
But
love how Shiny was so excited by that. It looked like the camera had frozen, but it hadn't. So.
I loved Invader Zim. Like that was my thing when it was when it was out.
yeah, yeah, there was a friend of mine who recommended it, said they thought I would like it, and at first I was like, I don't know, this is kind of ugly. I don't know. But, I checked it out and it became one of my favorite series ever, and I met a lot of awesome people through it. And in the process, I also started working towards becoming a voice actor myself, which works into my second fun fact is I've done a bunch of voiceover workshops during the time I was living in LA, and during that time, a lot of those workshops would have special guests. So I've gotten to actually record in the booth with Ed Asner, Matt Mercer, Roger Jackson, Eric
Whoa.
Bauza, and my
Wow.
personal VO crush, Carrie Walgren, who, yeah, I still have a crush on her. That's always going to be true.
Hot
Uh,
damn, those are some impressive
Right.
facts, and that's only 2.
so, but still related to the voiceover thing, the first voiceover person that I ever actually acknowledged the name of was Dom DeLuise, because when I was little, my favorite cartoon was An American Tail. So this is my third fun fact. I actually did get to meet Dom DeLuise in 1998. He was, of all things, he was peddling his cookbook over at the local Macy's. But I was working. So I begged my boss to let me, please, 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 let me go on my break early. Dom DeLuise is like my childhood hero, and I would absolutely love to meet him and get his autograph. And I had my sketchbook with me. But apparently, I didn't know this until I was already in line. He was only supposed to be signing copies of the book if you had purchased it. But I waited anyway. And when I got to the front of the line, I told excuse me, about
Don't
4
worry.
years old, and it would mean so much if I could have his autograph. And he took the marker that I had with me. He said I would be happy to. And he didn't just give me an autograph. He drew a picture of Tiger the cat.
Oh.
And I actually have it matte framed. It's not up on my wall currently because it's still in California, but that is my most treasured thing that I own is that picture.
The chat is losing their shit, which is pretty good. So, but I love, like, some people say never meet your heroes, but I adore it when people have stories of meeting somebody that they were a fan of and they turned out to just be a super good person. It's like, oh, that just warms my
He
heart.
was amazing. Like he was like kind of tired because it's been a long day, I'm sure, but he even said at the end of the conversation, "I hope to see you in California sometime." And I kept that in mind when I moved there, but unfortunately he passed away about a year and a half after I got there. I had always hoped if I would have met back up with him that he would have remembered me, but you never know.
Yeah, you never know, but you've remembered that and kept that for years, and that's so lovely to hear. That is, oh, that's so sweet. Oh. Oh god, we had many heavy topics in the last one, and now I'm just like, oh.
Well, the cute anime girl has to bring the cute things, you know.
That is a fair point. That is a fair point. Oh, I did not expect the blush for a second there. All right, my darling. And Ziggy, where can people find you online if they want to come and hang out when you are eventually off of hiatus?
Well, I mean, you can still find me all over the place. I haven't disappeared, I promise. So you can find me as Ziggy Vertigo on pretty much every single platform except for Origin because someone stole my old account. So it's on Twitter and well, yeah, Twitter and Twitch and everything except for Facebook.
Yeah.
It's just Ziggy Vertigo, and then Origin, it's Ziggy Vertigo TTV.
Cool.
You know, if anyone ever wants to like play Apex or something.
I've been meaning to get back into that actually. I did like it. Right, thank you very much. And last but absolutely not least, a person I think I already know much about because their partner bloviates about them constantly. And as I said when we spoke about it the other day, I'm pretty sure I'm already in love with this person. So, Miss Story Plays, hello.
Hi.
Hello, my darling. How are you doing today?
I'm doing much better than yesterday, so that's always you know.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah, you probably have seen it on Twitter, but I will quickly collaborate a little bit. We had a corona scare in this household, and Dragon and I both got tested negatively. So that's a good thing, and it was a big relief. Um, so yeah, that's how I'm doing. I'm actually like you
yeah.
know?
It's the sort of it's the
Uh,
come down now, the relax a little bit. But yeah, I'm very
yeah.
glad it's negative for both of you. So
Yeah.
yes, right. Well,
Um,
could you kick us off with just the name you go by, what your pronouns are, and just a little bit about who you are?
yeah, I go by Mystery online. It's not my real name, of course, but I've used it since I was 16, and yeah, we're like quite far ahead now. I'm not gonna change it anytime soon. I'm 30 years old. I'm from the Netherlands, and I'm married to Dragon Freaky, which you guys might have seen in Through Our Eyes Part 1. And he's also on one of the podcast episodes. And um, he can't shut up about me. So, yeah, I'm sorry for that if that bothers you, but he's like uh, my biggest fan, and we're very happily married. I
Love it.
go by she, they, 'cause, well, I'm I'm cisgender, but I don't mind being called they either because that's just a neutral term. Um, Further, I am on the ace spectrum myself, but I'm also bi romantic, pan romantic, like kind of fluid. I don't know exactly. I just like all sorts of people. But I'm married, so it doesn't
Yeah.
matter anymore. But well, it's still part of me,
Yeah.
but it's it's not as important anymore for me currently. Um so yeah, I work for a very cool job. I can't really have like a regular job, but I do work for Sims Online, which is a website about The Sims. Um, and I'm so glad I get to work for it. And it's like founded by one of my friends, and we work together. It's just the two of us now. Um, and we just have so much fun creating content over there, like writing guides, reviews. I usually do the reviews, and I'm like kind of savage in there sometimes about EA and stuff. So that is always fun to do. So that's what I do. I'm currently on hiatus for my personal content because my mom passed away, and I just don't have the focus to do everything. So I was like, you know what? Uh, I was making like Sims related content on my own channel. I recently started back up streaming again, which I really enjoy, but I can't do everything.
No.
Especially I have undiagnosed ADD, so my head is always all over the place. So then you know, I don't have to spread myself too thin
Yeah,
with my
exactly.
attention. So yeah, that's it. I guess
Yeah.
like my introduction.
No, perfect. It sounds good. Do you have a few fun facts you would like to share about yourself?
Yeah, I actually thought about it today. I was like, is this fun enough to share? I don't know. But around a year ago, I started collecting Pokemon cards because of a friend of mine. We call her Patient Zero because it started with a couple of free, like, very damaged cards that I got from her. And I got a couple of thousands now in a
Yeah.
year time. It
Wow.
goes really, really fast, and it's a very expensive hobby, but I'm really happy to do it. And Dragon likes to indulge me in it as well, so I'm not complaining, you know. So
Yeah.
that's a fun fact. And further, I love to get more tattoos, and actually, I do want to get like whole sleeves and everything. But ironically, the only ones I have right now are like very minimalistic, like this. This is like a little bracelet thing.
Mm.
I have one in my ear, and I have like a quote on this arm,
Well, that's some
and
nice
that's
script
it.
work.
Yeah, so it's like very minimalistic, but I actually want to get like whole sleeves with like a lot of, full color and everything. So, yeah, that's kind of ironic, I guess. And the last fact. Oh, I have a cool one. I actually shaved my head in November.
Cool.
This is not my real hair. Um, I wear wigs now while I'm growing back my hair. And I used to dye it blue, red, whatever color I was feeling, basically. And it damaged my hair so much that I decided to shave it off, all of it, because it was causing depression. Um, because I couldn't take care of it anymore. It was so damaged. So I decided to shave my head. And since then I've been wearing wigs, and it's actually like this long now so far.
Nice.
So
I was gonna
yeah.
say, are you me? I did
But
the exact same thing 2 years ago. So
really?
yeah, so
That's awesome.
yeah, so many years worth of growth again. But yeah, saying about Pokemon cards, so I have a binder, a Charizard binder, and I have still the
Oh.
first cards that I got when I was 4 years old.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, including
I'm so jealous. Those are so expensive now.
yeah, like I think there's a shiny Blastoise in there and some other things in there, like from the very first pack of like
Oh.
original. We used to have to get them at this like undercover market, and they're on the little ring pull things, and so yeah, I've still got all of those, and I still love collecting. And there's recently been a new set come out that I really want to get, but it's expensive. It has a shiny
Shining face.
Boltund and everything. Yeah, the new
Shining face. Yeah, it's terrible.
it has shiny
I know.
Boltund.
I know, it's such a pretty set, but it's so expensive with all the shiny cards. It's
Yes.
ridiculous.
Yes, but
But
right.
yeah.
And where can people find you online, seeing as you're starting back up, and like where can they come and hang out with you when you're getting going?
I think to keep up to date with me, Twitter is like the easiest. I go by Mystery Place on every platform. I used to try to get Mystery everywhere, but sometimes it was taken, so I started to use Mystery Place, and that's never taken. So if you find the account, that's basically me. I don't have Tumblr. That goes over my head. I'm probably too old for that. But otherwise, like I started making TikToks recently. There's actually one where I shave my head on
Oh,
there. So
cool.
if you want to see that,
Oh,
go ahead. It also shows my new keyboard, which is like really pretty and rainbowy. So I'm like, oh, so excited. So it shows that, and further, yeah, Twitch, Facebook, if people use that. I don't know. Not anymore, but Mystery Place everywhere.
Brilliant. And again, exclamation mark multi MULTI in the chat. If anyone does want to donate, again, exclamation mark donate, or Moobot will occasionally post it in, which is very helpful. Is everyone happy and ready to get on to some of the questions we've got?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
do it.
Hey, do it.
So let me grab them. Let us see. In fact, there's actually a really good one here, which we've already touched on a teeny tiny bit. And what we'll do is we'll start from the top and then we'll work our way round just so everyone has an idea of who's going where. So I'm afraid, Ace, you will be kicking us off. But I think you'll be good with this one. So how does intersectionality affect you, e.g., being, for somebody who might not know, part of LGBTQIA+, and a member of another marginalised group? Like for me, I'm pansexual, but I'm also disabled. So that's my intersection.
Right. I'm screwed with it. Especially in the like to be honest with you, even in the professional workspace. So my full-time job is being a consultant for a private firm. And oftentimes, most times I'm the only Black person. And I'm the only Black person that typically wears an afro. Then added on top of that, I'm queer, and added on top of that, I am recovering from a series of brain injuries. So I have like an invisible disability now too. And the way that it affects me is just like it affects my mental health. I think that's the way that I want to bring the conversation, because as confident as I am, as successful as I know myself to be, I care what other people think. And with having that invisible disability that I do have, oftentimes I look to others for validation and justification because I don't understand certain situations. I'll have a conversation, I'll walk away and completely overanalyze. That's why I've tacked on to like people like Shiny Pen, who I trust with my emotions and my thoughts, where we can have those deep conversations. And I'm like, okay, I'm validated or not. But to be quite frank with you, my last position, I worked for New York State government, and in that position, I literally was the only Black person that like someone had met, and that person was two people above me, right? Across the entire sector, I think we had like one Asian and then no gays, just me. And I would show up to work every day. They would never understand like why I would take a day off for mental health, because it was difficult for me to show up there, and not feel secure in my Blackness or my queerness. So eventually, it caused me to leave that organization, and really find myself and find my happiness and be confident within myself. But I'm still struggling. It's a constant evolution.
Cool. And yeah, that kind of blew my mind for a second, because I mean, only recently, when obviously there was a lot of talk on Twitter, not that it's not still going on around, Black Lives Matter, and somebody tweeted
Yeah.
saying like, when was the first Black person, if you're in the UK, you encountered in education? I was like, shit, I was 14 before I had a Black teacher. And I was like, I'd never even thought about it. And it kind of blew my mind, and I was like, no, there's way more work people need to do to make space for people and actually respect them for their lived experience. And so while I hate that it's true, it doesn't surprise me you've had that experience. I just really wish you hadn't.
It's crazy, because I grew up in Queens, New York, and I grew up with like Hispanics and Asians predominantly, because I went to school in like Main Street where all the Asians are at. So those are my people. And then I moved up to Buffalo, and I was put in spaces with white people, and I didn't know how to really react, because I didn't put myself in those spaces intentionally before, because I wasn't comfortable. And it's ironic. So like today, I'm gonna jump around a lot because I'm having a lot of thoughts right now, and that's just the way my mind works. But like I recently got accepted to the Clubhouse app. I don't know if people know what that is, but it's like invite only. People have conversations on there. And there was a Black actor, and they were talking about Lil Nas's new video. And I'm like, yo, let me tune into this shit while I get ready for this discussion, right? Let me go piss myself off. So I go in there, it's like all these Black people, right? Just to tie it back to intersectionality, that are shitting on queer people, or condemning them based on like religious beliefs and things like that. They're like, Lil Nas X, he has a lot of children that are part of his base, so he shouldn't be putting out videos like that. That's not his problem. Like, he's gay, he's out here representing himself, he's being confident as who he is.
Right.
And I think that shit is incredibly sexy.
Plus,
in all
gay
the ways.
kids exist.
He did nothing wrong. Like,
No.
you can twerk on the devil. That doesn't mean I'm a twerk on the devil, but I'm gonna watch that shit.
I actually, that was the very first thing when we started the stream at 12 o'clock today. The first question we were answering was good representations in media, and I was immediately like, that fucking video. I sat there and watched that with my like jaw just agape yesterday, just like, this is the like gay like amazing content I want to see, and to see it come from again, an intersectional person, a black man who is living his lived experience after promising himself he was never going to come out, and then doing that in the public eye, and then making an incredibly raunchy, kinky, sexy video where he gets killed by a butt plug and sent down to hell, because the thing that hits him in the middle of the head is a jeweled butt plug, and and then he fucks the devil, and it's like, that's what I wanted to see. Like,
Right.
it
We
made
needed it. And we all needed it.
it made my heart
Definitely.
sing to see a gay black man just be like, no, fuck off, this is me. And I was like, oh, that makes me so happy. And I hope there are kids that see it, because I hope
Absolutely.
kids know that it's okay to grow up being who you want to be, not who everyone else thinks you need to be. I'm sorry for jumping on your point there, but I loved it
You're
so
you're
much.
fine, because the thing is, if people are going to be worried about these freaking kids seeing shit, then you need to worry about yourself if you can't monitor your child's internet access. But that's neither
Exactly.
here nor there. The last point that I want to make is like the intersectionality is difficult for me because I grew up in a situation where, like, I'm Jamaican. Jamaicans are very homophobic, transphobic, all that. I grew up being homophobic, transphobic, all that, and I'm not okay with it. But I know that, like, I grew in my experiences, and through the people that I now love and I adore, I've grown to understand it so much more, right? And it sucks because my mother doesn't understand any of that shit. So I can go to my mom and talk to her about Jamaican issues, but the whole other thing is like being like African American is different than being Jamaican. So my mom doesn't really understand and ride with most of the views that Black people have because she's Jamaican and has that culture. And then I can't go to them about gay things because they're homophobic. So for me and my journey on social media, I'm looking for community, queer community, Black community, and just having those communities intersect. I think that's my whole point to being on social media. So that was my last point.
I think you're doing
Sorry,
it. I think you're doing it awesomely, which is why I reached out to you in the first place. And then you even said to me, "Why did you come and speak to me?" And I was like, "Because I am loving this vibe, and I'm loving somebody who is unapologetically themselves, and that's the type of person I
Absolutely.
want to speak to. Somebody
Facts.
who's not gonna just be like, oh no, actually, I'm gonna say what people want to hear. It's like, no, fuck off. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't want that on my panel. Leave.
that was
Fuck therapy.
that's hilarious. That was a bold ass question for me to ask you. I was just like very confused and very new at this
Yeah.
shit. So I was like, why is someone so dope reaching out to someone little like me? So again, I
Same.
appreciate you keeping me in mind and
Yeah.
bringing me back to this conversation. Because this is cool.
Yeah, but I also
And we
will
need to have it.
yeah. I will note that from my place of privilege as a cis white person approaching a black woman, right after the, again, the hashtags, the Black Lives Matter, the movement on Twitter, not specifically what's going on with the peoples, but after it was
Yeah.
trendy on Twitter, I didn't want to be approaching people just to be like, oh, so it's cool to talk to you, right? No, that ain't my shit. I am always trying to be anti-racist, anti-homophobic, anti-transphobic, and actively working to give people voices. So when you asked that question, I was actually like, yes, I'm actually really glad somebody did, because I don't want to be, I'm not ticking boxes. I really want to hear from you. So I was glad that you asked it. And, because if somebody, and again, it's not to be like, well done me, but somebody else could have just been trying to tick a box, and I didn't want to do that. So I like that you immediately kept me accountable if that was my jam. So that was good
Yeah.
good to see. And it was like, yeah, that's the kind of balls that I need, metaphorical balls that I need on this stream. So yeah, that was fantastic. I did have another point I was going to make, and then I fucking lost it. Where was I? Ah,
ADHD brain.
ADHD brain, yeah, undiagnosed, but it completely went out the window there. I'm sure I will remember it in a minute and be like, oh, no, there it is. I had to roll back to what you were saying again a minute ago, and we will get to you in just a minute, Zuri, but I just feel it's important to say, because we've said it on each section beforehand, everyone here today is part of the LGBTQIA plus sphere. And I want to say to anyone listening or who's raided over or seen the topic and thought they'd come over, I don't hate you if you are homophobic. I don't hate you if you have views that aren't necessarily what I would deem correct. I don't think you are a bad person. If you've come here to look for knowledge, and you've come here to listen and to learn and to address some shit in yourself that maybe you don't think is right, or maybe you've been raised with fear, maybe something horrible happened when you were younger and it it taught you to fear and hate others, or you've been raised maybe with religion that doesn't necessarily have the views that you want to have, if that's you and you came here to learn, then more fucking power to you, and you are welcome in this space. If you then listen to everyone's stories and you decide, no, that isn't correct, then you're a dick.
Right.
If you're going to be
Period.
given, like,
Mhm.
all the people's here's time, they are giving for free. I can't afford to pay people at the minute, and time is the most valuable thing you can give because you don't get it back. So if people are willing to
Exactly.
give you their time and educate on a topic that we're all bloody tired about talking about because we don't want to have to keep justifying why we exist, but if people are going to come and give that to you and you're willing to take that and learn and maybe even just address a tiny part of yourself and try and learn, then you are welcome here and I'm happy to have you about. It doesn't make you a bad person. Refusing to change when you are given more information and
Yes.
more learning, that makes you a dick.
Absolutely.
Right.
True.
There we are. I just want, because that's the thing. It's not that you're not allowed here if you've got views that you want to change, because how you grow up and what you learn is what you are given, and you don't necessarily have a say in that. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So anyway, let's go over to Zuri. So Zuri, does intersectionality affect you, and if so, how?
So whenever I got that question and started to think about it, I really had to do some research because again, still being very new and just kind of figuring out where everything like intersects and all that. And I'm still very not too aware of where like what intersects, if there are any at all at the moment.
Mhm.
And but I'm still been trying to again educate myself about it and all that, and see everyone else's just to see everyone else. It's been amazing, just kind of like I know like I've done it like everyone else like through the past couple months, especially whenever I started really getting into streaming and just seeing all like the different communities that intersected through the LGBT community, and kind of just like seeing everyone kind of just like not using it as like not like and being more showing it off and not like using like hindrances like oh, that's amazing. I'm just really cool to see everyone like talk about it and like, seeing more positive light and like especially coming from where I came from, like it's was always a very negative light has been shown upon like like the mental health community and all that, and just and being in a very religious area, it's just kind of very it's hard at times and to like especially like for me like I had to like something like A said like with their community like being like an anti like very homophobic and very transphobic and all that, like that's something like I grew up through being like living in a rural community, and then once I like and not until I moved into a bigger city to go for high school did I start to see all these other communities like pop up into my own world, and like and then like all these things like started changing is like I started realizing things about myself and like my own identity, like all these other communities started intersecting with mine. It's like, well, it's like maybe I'm more in tune with all these other people, and like and that's eventually how I came to my own realization that I was trans and pansexual and all that. I was like that if like do that, I think if it wasn't for the other communities, I probably wouldn't have come to that own realization about my own identity.
That is awesome to hear. It is good because we've all got to be each other's allies as well, and it's actually really lovely to see that like other intersecting communities helps you realize who you are, that is really
Right.
lovely. That is
Mhm.
really good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much. What about you, Mystery?
I can say that I've struggled a lot with it. I think it's I'm a cis woman. I don't have like the standard things you hear like racism and all that stuff. It's sad that it's even like standard because but yeah, I don't have struggles like that. The thing do struggle with, and um I don't necessarily think that my LGBTQness that adds on to it, but I live in like a very Christian part of the Netherlands,
Mm.
and I look alternative. Like I used to have like blue hair like every day. Like right now, I can take off my hair and put on my blonde wig, and no one knows, you know. So
Yeah.
that wasn't a thing before, and people actually when because I come from the city actually, but Dragon lived here, and I moved here because of him, and I wish I never did, but that's a whole other story. Um, but I don't know. People are looking at me like they're actually scared of me, like really. And I also had it like within my own family because I used to have like this very very best friend that we apparently had the crush on each other, and I never knew at the time. But she was just amazing, and when I think about her, like I think it was one of the biggest crushes I ever had. But um my father already told me even I never came out, by the way, just so you know. uh I never dared to, and now don't feel the need anymore. um it's just who I am, and if I'm just gonna talk about it like it's, you know, it's just a everyday fact. um but my dad said something like along the lines like bisexuals are just doing it for attention, it's not real. And by that time I already realized that I was anything but straight, you know. So I was like, oh wow, okay, I'm not gonna talk to you about it then. So yeah, that's more so the backlash that I got. It, and then now with combined with my mental health issues, um I think people think I'm weird and lazy, basically, because of my ADD. Sometimes I just, you know, my brain just can't prioritize things, and I just do nothing. And people don't understand that, and yeah, so that's the things that affect my daily life, and yeah, that's all I can say. It's not like as big of concerns as other people might have. So I'm very lucky in that point. So yeah.
It's still valid, and you are still valid though. And I'm sorry you have had the struggles you have, and I do relate with the mental health struggles as well. And you know,
Yeah.
that's like ADHD, which is undiagnosed but pretty fucking certain.
Same
It's
for me. I'm
yeah.
still trying to work to get my diagnosis. I'm on like a waiting list, and I hope to get it soon because then it means I might get medication for it.
Yes.
Um so yeah. It's just that people have those stereotypes about any type of person that's different from themselves. Like black people have that, gay people have that, trans people have that. If they don't understand it, they're like afraid of it. And with me with my blue hair, it's not the same level, you know, but it's the reaction is sort of the same. Maybe not as vile, but you know, it's when it comes down to it, it's sort of the same reaction that you have, misunderstanding, and then not wanting to learn about it either.
It's fear
Um,
based on misconception.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's what
no,
I'm trying to say.
I definitely understand what you mean. How about you, Shiny?
Whoa. So that so
Wasn't
I'm not
expecting
gonna
this.
pretend like I had a good grasp of understanding how that actually affected me because you know, I was fortunate enough. I mean, first of all, intersectionality, it's kind of crazy how the term has evolved over the last 30 years compared to what it was coined to represent. You know, it was, if I'm correct, and correct me if I'm wrong, the term was coined about quite a while ago to really pitch this idea and the framework about how certain communities are given disadvantages and treated differently based on, you know, social, economic standards, political standards, whatever it was, pretty much an entire marginalized communities as an umbrella, and how there we needed to speak up and say something about it, pretty much. And so for me, I never thought that you know, intersectionality really affected me because I didn't know that term really existed. And then as it evolved over time, it turned into a lot of advocates fighting and saying it, and more popularly in communities like our LGBTQI community, in communities of people of color, Black communities, that started to become, that's the term. And then it created like this divide where people on one side are like, well, no, you're only saying that because you're trying to get a leverage up on everyone else. It's like, well, no, that's actually not it. And so for a backstory for me, I grew up in like middle to lower class communities. So when I first even entered school, the community I went to was predominantly like Asians, Black people, any person of color. That's where I grew up. It was very far and few where there was like a white individual. I had, I think, one white best friend from like kindergarten through, sixth grade in elementary school. And then, you know, so that was different for me. One of my favorite teachers she was a Black woman, and she was like my favorite freaking teacher. Like I loved listening to her talk. Like anything she had to say, I was just captivated, and I was just like, yeah, I hear you. And so my experiences growing up, I didn't realize the type of like how I was being treated at the time because of how I looked, right? And then as I got older, obviously coming out as trans and really being one with my own identity, I kind of looked back at my entire history and was like, yo, I didn't I didn't realize how marginalized I really was. I didn't realize how much negativity I experienced because of this, being treated because oh, you're Asian, so that must mean you're not from America. So where did you come from? I'm like, well, actually, I was born and raised in this city. So hi, you're
Yes, I
wrong.
know.
Right, exactly. And I'm like, not like I don't even have an accent. That should have been your first giveaway that I am actually from here. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, so it's a strange feeling when you become like of this adult age or whatever age you really get into your own and look at the social aspect of everything that's happening around you and how it changes so much and your perspective changes. And so, from elementary school, and then when I got into middle school, or like middle school, I went to like a predominantly white school, and that was a culture shock for me. Okay, that was a culture shock for me, and I was like, whoa, what is even happening? Why do so many people hate me? I don't get it. You know what I mean? And like it was really bad. I was bullied at that school. I actually left that entire school district, and that was the first time I've ever experienced terrible grades, a bad social experience as a kid. And I had to tell my dad. I said, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go there. Send me somewhere else. Because I'm not gonna succeed. And and I was like, what, 13, 12 years old, and it was intense. And so like the more and more after reading that question, being prepared for this, I said, I really need to look into how this has really affected my life, because I don't look at it as such a negative thing, because I fall into so many of those categories that people see as marginalized. Like, yeah, I'm Filipino, I'm American, I'm trans, I have dark skin, and my height, my age, everything about me like there's always been something pushed against me, for whatever reason. It was always a constant battle. But at the end of the day, like, I'm here, I'm representing, and I've accepted that, and I'm here to, like I've said before, be that representation, because I didn't have that growing up. I'm not saying people like me never existed, but it wasn't brought to light. It wasn't brought to light for me to be like, I relate to that person. And so when I got I got lost into this deep dive of intersectionality, and I was like, whoa, this is bigger than we all really know it is. Like, it's so much more than just a small section, and it does affect everyone in very many ways. And just to kind of go back to what Mystery was saying, like, you may not think you've experienced some type of form that marginalize you and be included in this, how intersectionality like really affected you, but it's an entire spectrum of different aspects, and everything you said is completely valid. And same thing with ACE, like everybody's going to experience their form of intersectionality very differently because of where we came from. And then,
Yeah.
and back with what Paige was saying about how, we grew up with these certain things built into us, implanted into us. We didn't choose that. And I always like to say, if we're here to like learn and grow past these things, you have to give yourself permission to grow out of those bad habits, those bad realities, those bad ways you were raised. I was raised in a very strict, like, well, not very strict. My grandmother is very Catholic, and like to the point to where she like forced us to watch mass on TV when she was babysitting myself and all our cousins. You know, you got to sit, stand, kneel. We're gonna take this pretend, communion and stuff. And I thought I had to do that because that's what I was supposed to do. And as I got older, I realized, no, I don't agree with anything. I'm not hating on anybody who practices Catholicism or their religion, but it is not for me. And that was something that's another thing, how another aspect of intersectionality and how religion plays a role into what really forms how your mind thinks and what you think is right or wrong. But I mean, it's just been a wild journey. I'm still learning about how these things affect me, and how it affects others around me. I feel like I need to be more aware of how it affects others and not just myself, because how am I going to be well-rounded and be supportive if I'm not really trying myself to understand and break those barriers, to give myself permission to be like, okay, yeah, I was told this as a young age. It was pounded into my head, but I don't agree with it. So I'm going to fight against that and learn and grow that way.
Yep, I very much agree with you. Like, it's not exactly the same, but it was the thing that I realized actually thinking about the intersectionality thing as well. Because when I put the question down, I thought like, is this a good question? How would I answer this question? And I just remembered being like 10 years old, and I'd left, like, my family moved to a different part of the country, and the part of the country I come from is called Essex, and it's known as being very chavvy, which is it's essentially a lot of people into white British rappers who aren't very good, and they glorify violence, and it's often seen as a fairly low class thing, and it's meant to. People are seen as very rough, and it's not everything I experienced, but I had a best friend growing up from like the ages of 6 till 10 when I moved, and I was into the emo music, and she told me, and at 10 years old, like, if you come here wearing that emo shirt, I will stab you. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, one, why have you got a knife, you weird 10-year-old? Two, I thought we were friends. Like, what? And she's like, yeah, if you wear that goth shit, I'll stab you. It's like, okay, I just don't think I'll visit my hometown again. Thank you for that. But there's so much stuff that from our childhoods we don't necessarily think about, because it's like, oh yeah, that's normal. And it's like, whoa, that was not normal. That is not something that should have happened. I don't.
Not at all.
No, like, I'm pretty sure what t-shirt you wear shouldn't get you murdered. But it's
Right.
and I'm glad it gave
God.
you something to think about. But I am sorry if it's caused you any pain or stress from it, because going back into your childhood, you do remember a lot of stuff that sometimes you wish you didn't, and so it can be difficult.
Right.
And I will say, for anyone in chat, if this has triggered any sort of memories or issues and you do need somebody to talk to, you can type in !I need help into the chat. That will give you a link to Checkpoint.org, who are a free service linked to loads of other free services across the entire world, no matter what country you're in. And they are crisis management services. So if you need to speak to somebody because you're experiencing triggers, or this has caused a panic attack or something like that, and you really need to speak to somebody, they will be there for you. So yeah, if that is help you need, it is available in the chat. But yes. And how about you, Ziggy?
When I was looking at intersectionality, like when I consider marginalized group, so like before I even knew I was trans, I wouldn't consider myself very marginalized, because like I was white, male, this, and like the closest that I could think of is that I was raised Jewish. And that was one of those things. Is like when I was younger, that was something I was very proud of, because I knew a lot about my heritage. And for the most part, I don't think I got a lot of flack about it. But then, like looking back, there were times that people did treat me differently, and I didn't realize it at the time. Like, for example, I have very little respect for the Cub Scouts and the Boy Scouts, because they are like, yeah, they do treat, not treat, they give a lot of the useful skills, but at the same time, it's like they are under the umbrella of Christianity. And I guess one of the den mothers was like super Christian, that I was part of that particular den, and they treated me really badly. I don't really remember it. I remember the stories my mom told me that I told her at the time. But it's like, just Shiny made a lot of good points about how intersectionality goes a lot deeper than you think it does. Because aside from, being treated differently because of your sexuality, your religion, anything like that, it's it's crazy the way that you don't notice, because a lot of it's microaggressions. And the worst part about that is that people, they they have the microaggressions, and sometimes it's because of how that they were raised. They're not even aware that they're acting in a harmful way, because it's like, this is what I was taught, so this is the correct way, even that's not necessarily good for the other people involved.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've fallen really off topic there.
No. I mean,
Mm-mm.
all these questions are sort of launch pads to get into deeper discussion. So everything you're saying is very valid and needs to be said.
Can I
Yeah,
chime in a
true.
little bit?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
if
of course.
Ziggy's done, then yeah, absolutely.
Because hearing everyone talking about this, I'm new to this whole term, so I was like, oh, okay, listening to what it means, and then what does it mean to me, and I'm learning, which is really good,
Great.
just from talking to you guys, So that's great. But I actually, I'm very I'm overweight and I'm chubby, and being ace while you're chubby, people are like instantly, yeah, it's because you're not sexy. It's because you're not attractive, so of course you don't want to have sex, Like so I realized that just from listening to you guys, like, oh, that's actually, yeah. That happens a lot actually. Um I remember one thing Dragon Freaky's brother actually said the first time he actually came home again after 2 years absence was, oh, I would have gotten fat also if I wouldn't have sex. And it was like, why would you even say that to your little brother? It was
Yeah.
so weird. I don't know. It was rude and weird. And I'm like, so what if I don't have sex? So what if we have all the sex in the world? Like, you don't know anything about us. You don't know us. At the
Right.
time, it was really weird. And so that is actually a thing that I'm now realizing from hearing you guys' points of views on this whole topic. Is that, yeah, it actually does happen a lot. Yeah, just, you know,
Yeah.
stereotypes, everything. Like, it's weird. People are weird.
Yeah.
I don't like people. I really
Right.
don't.
Yeah. And
I don't go out a lot, can you tell?
no, I absolutely understand what you mean. I mean, I am not a small woman at all. Like, giant fucking. I mean, this cardigan's like 4 times as too big. I can wear it twice. But I understand what you mean. But at the same time, fun fact, people, some people just don't want to have sex. Some people just don't want to put a thing inside another thing, or a thing against a thing, or a thing around a thing, and spray liquids everywhere. Some people just don't want to do that.
No.
They just don't want to do that. And if they don't want to do that, that doesn't mean they don't want to do other shit as well. I will say that sex isn't just penetrative. That is what I will say. And
Right.
sex and relationships means a lot more. Some people
Yeah.
don't want to have sex if they aren't in love with the person. Some people will not have sex with somebody they're in love with and will only want to do it if there is no emotional attachment. Just because it doesn't make sense to you doesn't mean it doesn't make sense. And if you're going to say a
Yeah.
shitty comment like somebody said to you, I'm willing to bet that's out of something they have found in themselves they are frightened of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And yes, somebody being sexy, like, no, not everyone is sexy to everyone else. Like, that's fine. You're allowed to not be attracted to somebody. Same as you're allowed to be attracted to literally everybody if you want to be. But
Yeah.
somebody's weight or, somebody's just whoever somebody is, that's their business. It ain't yours. If you don't like it, shut the fuck up about it. Like, we
Or
don't need to
just
hear
Exactly.
it.
say,
It's
I'm
that
fucking
simple,
sexy.
right?
I don't
Oh,
need his
word.
opinion
Exactly.
about it.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
I didn't
Like,
know we were preaching today. Dang.
Okay. Let's do it. Come on.
No, we're always preaching. Like, I liked what Lil Nas X said about having an agenda and actually saying, yes, I do have one, because I have the same one, which is we need to keep talking about stuff long enough that we no longer need to talk about it. I would love to not have this panel.
exactly.
I adore doing this panel. I wish I didn't have to do it. I wish I didn't want to have to make this space where we have to physically force our way in so that we just get to stand there forever. But it needs to be done.
Yeah. That's exactly why I'm here. Like, I don't often talk about being ace or anything. It's just who I am. I'm not like, hey, do you know I'm ace? You know?
Right.
But it should be that normal that someone could be anything other than straight or asexual or gay or bi or whatever you are. It doesn't matter. Like, it should be that normal that if you like at some point you want to introduce your partner, or if you don't want to have a partner at all, that's also fine. You know, if you want to introduce someone and you can just say, hey, this is the person I'm dating, and people are like, oh, cool, I'm so glad for you. You know, like that should
Right.
be the most normalist thing, and it's not, and it's sad, and that's why I'm here, because I'm married, I'm ace, my husband just found out he's also ace,
Cool.
and it's been very interesting because we've been together for like 8 years and we were married for
Wow.
5 years, and he's just finding it out himself as well by talking about it. So, talking about it helps.
Yeah.
And hopefully at some point it's just a normal conversation, and people are like, less scared to talk about it and more accepting about it, because we have to.
Yeah.
It should be normal. I don't understand why people just can't accept each other. It's so frustrating to me.
I think it's fear. I really do genuinely think most of it stems from fear, and if some of it stems from
Yeah.
religion, usually it's because it stems out of fear again, or it stems out of greed. It stems out of somebody being so afraid of something they've discovered in themselves that they're willing to force it on others.
Yeah.
And then that just continues down and down and down and down and down until it gets to the point where it's just known. It's just known that this is a thing, and it's like, well, no, they said is not a valuable source. Like, that you cannot cite they said. That there is no fact in that.
Who's
It's
they?
just conjecture. Exactly.
What are you
Who is
talking about?
they? What is their experience? Like, why should I
They're
believe
that
their point?
all-knowing person.
Yes.
Let me talk to them for a second. Yeah, no.
Exactly. And
that.
I will just say there is a lot of compliments in the chat for each of you, but I would like to point out this one from Sammy Critfield saying, also one day I hope to have an eighth of the style of Shiny. So much appreciation for this outfit. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah, like
Awesome.
I think it's all incredibly important. And again, I thank you all for coming and sharing your time, your stories. We've got a bit of time left, so we will go into one of the other questions we've got, but I am going to amend it a tiny bit based on a discussion we had in a previous panel, which is, what are your thoughts around Twitch implementing a trans tag? What do you think the risk versus reward would be? But also, what about the idea of an ally tag? It's a little bit of a controversial one, but it's an interesting topic.
Here we
and
go. This
I
is
will
a good one.
I will explain to people what that means. So there is a tag on Twitch you can put on your streams, which is LGBTQIA+. Some platforms have said the A stands for ally. If you believe it is, because you've been told it is, that's misinformation. It's not your fault you know that. But it stands for the ace spectrum, and so asexual people and all the kinds of terms that come under that umbrella. Being an ally should just be the norm. You shouldn't need to have a badge to say you're a good person, but I do wonder whether Twitch might benefit from having more people, say, under an ally tag, so that when you go in, you know you're not going to accidentally be hit with a random homophobic comment or a random racist comment. You're not waiting for that backstab. And then the bubble grows of more and more accepting people to the point where it starts pushing out all the others that refuse to use it, because why would you ever want to go there? But again, could it just be inviting more happy little backslappers? I'm interested to see what everyone thinks. Ace, what about you? Because you're already clapping, so I'm like, yeah,
Let's
go on.
Let's go.
Go for
let's
it,
go. Let's
I was
go.
just having this conversation with Shiny a couple weeks ago. So I personally think that people use shit for clout. I've seen it. I hate it. I see a lot of people putting the LGBT plus tag just to get views. And I go in and I'm like, this shit's not queer. Like, who the fuck is queer here? And I dip out, right? Like, I personally feel like there shouldn't be a need for a tag to say whether or not, like, you are a safe space. That's how we worded it a couple weeks. But I do think it has its benefits, right? Because I don't know if someone has a safe fucking space when I enter their chat. I don't know if, like, how you're gonna react if you get trolled. I don't know what the hell the vibe is here. So if I see that it says safe space and I know I could go in and be accepted as a queer human being, cool as fuck. I wish, just like you said, we didn't have to have panels like this shit. We didn't have to have discussions like this shit. I wish shit was just normalized and shit was perfect, peachy. Fuck who you want, move on. But it is not. It is not at all. So I think a tag is needed for allies. I don't care for straight people, being completely blunt in who I am. Cool if you just want to go that one way. Boring, nice, cool. I personally, for me, I would love the trans tag. I don't identify as trans. I have loved so many people that are trans though. And as a content creator, for me, that would mean community and representation for my viewers. For someone that is friends and admires trans people, that also means community and representation for those fucking individuals that deserve it.
Yep.
As a content creator and as a viewer, right? Like, you want to feel safe as a content creator. Some people are, I'm going to be very blunt, passing. And you don't know whether or not someone is trans. You don't know whether or not how they feel about a certain topic. If they put that there, then somebody that doesn't look like them or does look like them, someone that identifies like them and doesn't have people to look forward to or look up to, will then know that they can go in that space and they could fuck with Shiny Pen 24/7. You know what I'm saying? Period. And same as a content creator, like, I can't speak for that shit, but I assume seeing other people have that tag and then having collabs and fucking collabing with that tag and shit, that brings about people that you want to value in your community and build within that community. It's insane that this is even a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm very like, whew. But
I would personally love to see a trans tag. Just like a quick little tiny note from me. Like, I put together this. Well done, me. I put together this stream and I went and found 30 content creators and messaged every single fucking person and was just like, I'd love to hear from you. Will you come and give your time and talk? And I went through Twitch actually first to have a look for some new people to approach. And all I found, and I say this as a white person, was cis white dudes. And I'm like, I don't want to talk to just cis white dudes. Not that you're not a valid person. Not that you don't have lived experiences. Not that you don't have other struggles. But you are not who I'm looking to talk to. And I couldn't find anyone I was looking to talk to. And I was scrolling through, I looked through a lot of the games I looked through. And then, I looked through some of the tags as well. And I was just like, I'm not seeing, and again, that's not saying that everyone's outward perception is, or like visages who they actually are, but for what the information that was put out and what Twitch allowed me to find, I didn't find anyone I was looking for. And so I went back to Twitter and I started looking there, and lo and behold, I immediately found a shit ton of people who I was like, yes. And then I went to other content creators. I was like, who would you recommend? They're like, oh yeah, I found this person because of a tweet or a clip that went on Reddit. And I was like, why do we have to keep going elsewhere to find our people? And the idea that having a trans tag would lead to more trans people being abused. Trans people are already being abused by trolls. If trolls want to find somebody, they will find them. They will find them. And again, I want to hear from more trans people, and we have trans people, so I'm going to give you room in a moment to say and to speak just before I bloviate. But I think if you're already being attacked, actually finding allies is better. People will use it to come and be dicks, but I think so many more people will come and use a tag like that to be like, oh, people like me, yay! And then you start building better groups and better communities. At least that's what I hope. I can see why Twitch is like, oh, it could be bad, but it's like, you have adults on your platform.
Close to
You
winning.
cannot have an account until you were a minimum of 13 years old, and you cannot stream using Mature until you are 18. People then opt in and they choose. You have to give people choice. But what do you think about it, Zuri?
Well, again, because I remember it was in the previous panel when the ally tag was brought up and whatnot. Not really a fan. I don't really. Again, like I've been in every other discussion. You know, just like even if I don't say anything, I'm not really. It's like there's everyone else is saying what how I already feel. Just like Ace like talking about, you know, how the ally tags like.
No, and that's perfectly valid. So what do you feel around that? What would you rather happened, or is it just
With the
yeah?
I'd rather not have the ally tag. I mean, it's just again, I could see it just being like again how like someone else in chat said it could just be used as a way. Someone could just put it on there and you'd be used as a way to troll and bring even more hate. Like if we were to just say raid
Clout.
them and it's like why would it like I don't want to have to worry that about accidentally raiding it to like someone who has that tag and the next just to hide their hate.
That's
And
a
that's
good. That's
I
a
don't
good
want
shout.
that.
No, that's a very good shout because
But
bad actors will
yeah.
pretend to be good people. So
hmm
actually, yeah, that's a really good point. Sorry.
But again, like for trans tags, I would love to have that. That's again to have that representation in the community and to see others, not just be like having to just find them through Twitter, like I've done with most everything, just like especially with the Twitter threads of seeing all my other like trans streamer friends that I've made, and to be able to find new ones that I have not heard that probably just don't have the reach like everyone else does on social media, or the time to go through a super long thread because I mean it's you can easily get 100 thread comments in there. It's like and there's just a lot of people and some people just don't have a super long amount of time, especially whenever you have seeing the same people. But just to have other people like something you want to see a new face and meet new and see other people and see like especially trans masculine people and not just trans femme people. That'd be amazing to see and just to have that just to be able to see new people, new faces, and not just have this kind of echo chamber of the same old from everyone else.
Brilliant. Very well said. I absolutely agree because that's why I wanted to ask the question because that's obviously something I didn't think of, but I very much agree with you that
Oh yeah.
bad actors will be dicks to be dicks. But I also think that Twitch should be more responsible in taking out the trash. But the trash brings in money at the
Exactly.
minute, so
Yeah.
so
Twitch has a lot of work to do, period. Honestly, truly.
very
Right.
much so.
There's a lot of gaps in their shit. Like I get trolls all the time and I report that shit and I get no response.
Nope. Nope.
And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that we also need tags for like black people too, just saying, but like
Yep.
that's another topic. I just want to put that out there
No,
too.
but as another representation tag, like yeah, absolutely. Because
Yeah, real quick.
as I say, I'm doing an LGBT like stream. I didn't want just white people. Again, not that white people's experiences aren't valid, but there's so many more people in LGBT. But again, scrolling through Twitch, even looking at the LGBT tag, I wasn't seeing any black faces. I wasn't seeing any, AAPI faces. I wasn't seeing other faces. And I'm like, make it easier to discover people. Like, there's got to be more. There's got to be more than the ones you're showing me. And I wanted to discover. But I will say the new peer-to-peer tool, the opt-in discoverability tool is really good. At least for everything I've seen so far. And very quickly, I would like to say a massive thank you to Sammy Critfiddle for a £200 donation. Which has taken
yes.
us to
Sammy.
That's what's up. Get it.
Awesome.
which has taken us
Hey.
to 1455. So we are over
Hell yeah.
halfway, massively over halfway now, which is awesome. So thank you
That's
Nice.
amazing.
so much. Wait, there's a country music tag, but not a trans.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Drop facts in the chat, Mothra. Here you go.
Excuse me, we all know
ahead, Martha,
banjos
drop
need
those.
more representation. Sorry.
That's what I was going to say. Just in case I do drop out here in like the next 5 minutes, that's just me having to get to work.
Don't you worry. Thank
Just-
you.
And I enjoy all my time being here, and I hate that I have to leave. That I had to leave early.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing. If we
Okay.
don't get to say it, thank you so much for sharing your time with us. And I know you're incredibly tired after doing a lot of work, but it's so appreciated, and your views and you are so valid, and it's so beautiful that you'll come and share that with us. And it's been really lovely getting to know you a little bit as well. Yeah, thank you so much. Alrighty, so what about you, Mr.
To keep it short, I love the idea for the trans. I hate the idea for ally. And I think everyone is saying that, but I think the trans, like, just to put it in perspective, if I am looking for something, I will search on that name, whatever it is. Like, if I am looking for trans, I Google trans. If I look for ace, I Google ace. I don't go on Phasmophobia because I like watching that and hope to find a trans person in there. So if there's like a tag for it, it's a great idea. I love that. And especially because you can find more people like you if you're trans. And it makes it so much easier to connect with people. And of course it will attract trolls, but trolls are everywhere, so who the fuck cares? You're not gonna stop them. They can,
Yeah, by finding each other and strengthening each other up, it's easier to combat against trolls. When you
Exactly.
know there's more people like you, it's easier to just be like, no, go away. You ain't welcome
Yeah,
here.
it's like, who cares? Like, what the fuck are you doing in my stream? Go away. So, just
piss
like
off.
that. So yeah, that's my thought on the trans thing. And the ally thing, I think it's so much more important. If you're an ally, please show it in your stream. If someone is being a dick about something like racism or whatever, call them out, ban them, whatever. Do something. Your actions are so much more important than a fucking tag saying you're an ally. I don't care about your tag that you're an
Yes.
ally.
Okay,
Show
there you
it.
go.
Cool. Yep.
Show it.
Preach.
Like, that's so much more important.
Be a good person. Don't just say you are.
Yeah, be a good person. Show it in your actions. People will see that and will know you're an ally.
Awesome.
That's my thought on it. So,
Nope.
um,
Perfect.
go ahead, Shiny, I guess.
Okay, whoa. Well, first of all, I'm gonna apologize in advance
Here we go.
because I have something to say.
All
I
right,
have a
go
lot
for
to
it.
say.
Go for it.
I have a lot to say for a multitude of reasons. And so, first of all, as Ace was saying, we did talk about the use of the LGBTQIA tag on Twitch on one of my streams. I want to say a couple weeks ago, and absolutely correct in the fact that people are using it for clout. And it's the only tool we have to find each other in this community. It's the only tool we have. Unless I go there and cipher through every single person's about me, which even now, since they are banning words, is going to make it even harder for me to discover these individuals, right? So to piggyback off of what everyone has collectively said is, as an ally, you don't need a tag to show us that you're an ally. Us, as part of the LGBTQIA plus community, we know you're an ally by your actions and how you stand up for us and stand beside us. You don't need to tell me that you're an ally because I know already if you are. Okay.
Yeah.
And I said that in my last stream because I feel very strongly about that.
Yeah.
Because we don't. And I don't believe we need an ally. I don't know how it is in other countries. But out here, there have been, there's this thing where they've created what they coined the term safe space. And so much to where they have like posters and stuff for people specifically like in classrooms, especially in high school, where they're educating, the teachers and the staff and people how to create a safe space for their students to feel safe speaking about these issues if it's something that they need to speak about. And so I do believe that putting safe space, if you are an ally and you want us to know you have a safe space for us, I believe if you put that in your title, cool. Let me know that it is a safe space, but I need you to be authentic about it. And unfortunately, there's no way for us to monitor that. You could put it in there for the clout, and I'm going to take my community over and realize, oh, you were just using it to get the views.
Yeah.
But the unfortunate reality is, regardless of what tag we get, what representation we get, we're always going to have these battles, no matter what marginalized community you're in, right? It doesn't matter. If we get a tag that says Asian American or Filipino, I'm going to find people who are Filipino. Absolutely, yes. But also, I'm going to also invite people who are going to hate on Filipinos into my stream. But that's a battle I'm willing to fight,
Yes.
Yeah.
because all I care about is reaching the people who I represent. And I represent a community of a trans masculine Filipino individual. And I didn't have that representation growing up.
Yes,
So
King.
as far as it's just, it means so much to me, because that's really, honestly, that's a big part of why I started speaking and outwardly speaking about my transliness. I have always been Filipino. Always. I've always been proud to be Asian. I've always been proud to be Filipino. You know what I'm saying? And for me right now, if I went and I was like, why can't I find a trans masculine Asian individual or Filipino? Right? It's hard. I can't. I have yet to find one. I have yet to find anyone just like me. You know what I mean? And I want to be the voice, and I want to be the representation, so that somebody comes across me and they can see, yeah, okay, cool, he's like me. So I want to go check him out and vibe with him, because I don't know where else to go. You know, that's what I want to create my community around. And it's very important. So the trans tag, absolutely 110% yes. Absolutely, we need that trans tag. Does that
Perfect.
mean we're going to get a lot of pushback and we're opening ourselves to be vulnerable to haters? Absolutely. But for people like me, I'm here to fight with you and for you. And if you don't feel comfortable utilizing that tag, that's okay. You don't have to.
Yeah.
But use that tag to your advantage to help bring others to your community and create that representation you want or that you need. If I put a trans tag in my stream, I'm inviting anybody to come. Anybody. If you want to learn about trans topics, if you don't know anything about being trans, you know what I mean? If you're trying to find somebody to relate to who's trans, I'm opening that up. I'm going to get the trolls. I'll deal with those trolls. You don't have to fight those battles. I will.
Yep.
That's what I'm here for. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly believe we do not need an ally tag, but a trans tag is extremely important for representation.
Cool.
And it's I can't stress it enough, like, to kind of go back to what Ace was saying about trans individuals passing. So that's a term that some people, don't like anymore, but it was a term that was very important early on in my transition. For me, I'm very much passing. If you came into my stream and I had no identifiers that I was trans, no one would ever have known. And I've been fortunate enough to live most of my trans journey that way. And so I used to walk around and say, yes, I'm trans, but I don't put a stamp on my forehead for many reasons. Number one, my transliness has nothing to do with anyone else, really, unless I want you to be a part of that. And I want you to know it. But at the same time, it doesn't cancel the fact that I'm trans, and I am absolutely proud to be trans, and I'm proud to be Filipino. I'm proud to be Asian and trans masculine and represent for a community that I feel like gets overlooked. And so that trans tag would bring so much visibility. Here we are talking about, representation during a time of trans visibility week, and trans visibility is, for the trans masculine community, it's hard, because not every person has the confidence or feels comfortable to say, yeah, I'm a trans masculine individual.
Or even the
Because
safety.
exactly.
Yeah.
Me being in this category of passing as trans masculine, I feel guilty. I feel like, I who am I to stand up for a community when my struggles were different. My battles were different than somebody who's like constantly struggling with their identity, or passing or reaching that moment of confidence, reaching that euphoric moment where they're no longer feeling gender dysphoria or body dysphoria because of how they look or they sound, or because they're pre-transition or pre-hormones. My struggles were way different, and so I feel really guilty sitting here get trying to steal my position on my soapbox, saying, hey, here I am to represent this community, but at the same time, I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep representing. I'm going to say it, and I'm not going to stop.
Something I said
So,
earlier.
yeah.
Something I said earlier that I think rings true a little bit here with what you've just said, Shiny, is just, even like, just because you may not have struggled as much as some other people do doesn't mean that you aren't valid, but it also means you might just have that little bit more energy that others don't, to actually be able to stand up and say, no, fuck you, I'm gonna fight right now.
Right.
And that's an amazing thing to have, and it doesn't make you any less valid or what you have lived any less valid at all. Like, at all. And I'm happy that you had a bit of an easier time with things, because I think that's the end goal. Everyone should have been able to
Yeah.
just live their lives and be happy with themselves. And it's lovely to hear when somebody has been able to do that, even though there may have been other struggles as well. But yeah, I mean, stand on that
Guilt
soapbox.
is
Somebody
never
needs
the
you to.
answer. It's not your fault or anything. You know, like what should you have done? Put yourself in a worse position so you don't have to feel bad now. Like
Right.
that
Yeah.
I know what you mean, but like that also shows how diverse and like everyone comes from another has another backstory and everything, and it just shows how all sorts of people are like you can be trans even though you don't have it as hard as someone else, or you can be ace like myself even though you still find some people still attractive, you know, like it's so different for everyone, and to feel guilty about it, no, never do that, so stop it.
And some
By the
people,
way.
Work in
yeah,
progress. It's a
Yeah.
growth
yeah.
opportunity, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, and some people are trans and don't want to transition, which
Right.
exactly.
that's representation that's so needed as well, because not many people know
Yeah,
a kind of person who is trans but doesn't want to transition because they're actually happy with who they physically are is even possible, but that is.
yeah,
Right.
But
exactly.
Ziggy, my darling, do you have anything you'd like to add to this?
Whew. I gotta say, Shiny is hard to follow up with. I
I'm sorry.
so
I have a lot to
no, no,
say and I'm always
no, no,
Don't
no.
passionate.
It's
apologize. Don't
it's
apologize.
okay because like your your name is so perfectly you because it's like your pen is definitely mighty. So
Thank you.
I appreciate all your words so much. But I totally agree that it's the ally tag isn't really necessary. I think it was Mouse that was saying earlier is like that it's not necessary for someone to say they're an ally, it's to be the ally. And it's always definitely a show me kind of thing.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's like it is possible for people to say they're good people without actually being good people, but that brings us to, the whole trolling thing, which unfortunately the whole situation is just not just the tags just because of people who are trolls. It's unfortunately kind of inevitable that people are gonna be shitty sometimes.
Yeah, sad but true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I would say overall the trans tag would be a very, very wonderful thing. I did vote on the thing and I told it to send me updates, and every single time that somebody votes on it, I get an email.
Nice.
And I signed up on actually Valentine's Day, it just so happens, and I have gotten since then almost 190 emails. So that's
Ooh.
190 votes in just over 2 months, and they talk about it. You know, it seems like a small community, but that means that there's still enough people who believe in it as a cause that they're gonna keep coming. They're gonna keep saying, "Yes, we want this. Yes, we need this." And this is definitely a case of Twitch seeing that things are being said but not actually listening. And I think that's what we really, really need is we need to find the people who will actually hear us out, not just present, because there's such a big difference between, hey, we have this idea and just kind of like throwing it at them versus actually finding the right the right strings to pull, you know? But I don't know what I was going to say next now.
That's absolutely fine. I think you've raised a very good point. I have just put, I believe it's the correct link. If it is not the right one, I think there's a few of the open user voice issues. I'm not
Yeah,
exactly sure what they're called.
I've seen it
Cases.
enough times at this point. Yes, that's the right one.
Fabulous, excellent. So
Yes.
I have put the trans tag request into the chat. All you need is a Twitch account, and if you're here, you're probably probably have one, if not weird. All you need to do is go there. It asks you to sign up, but it's just authenticating your Twitch account with their user voice system, which is how you request things. And you just click the button that says vote. And it's literally it. You don't have to do anything else. You can leave a comment if you want to, but that is how you do it. And then you can send Ziggy some more emails.
I think. See, I think I only get emails when they leave comments. So that means that there's been about 190 comments. So I don't know how
pretty
many votes I haven't seen.
Right.
But like I love to see the progress.
There's a
So-
lot. It surprised me how many there is there.
Yeah, I know. Like we're in the high thousands at this point. And the thing is like not everybody knows about it.
Right.
It personally, what I think would be kind of great, since this is the tail end of Trans Visibility Week, if they would have brought this to light, like actually made a tweet about it. Hey, there's a topic we're considering a trans tag. Let us know what you think. Put your vote in if you think that it's something we should add. Unfortunately, we've literally got hours left in the day, so it's a little late for them to do it. But it doesn't mean that they can't do it.
I don't know. I see it a lot with EA as well, with The Sims. It takes a lot of like bigger content creators for them to start changing things that the whole community is already complaining about. Last December, the game was about 4 or 5 years old. No, 6 years already. Jesus. It's yeah. So The Sims 4 is already 6 years old, and this December they finally got the skin tone update.
Yep.
Like it took so long to represent more people of color. It was ridiculous at that point, you know. So also with like companies such as Twitch, it just takes so much for them to finally listen to people, and it's sad. And I hope that like people with certain privileges will also, talk to them about that. Like especially Twitch partners. If you think this is a good cause, stand up for trans people and make them hear you, because a lot of trans people can't make them.
Yeah.
And that's the sad thing about it. Because companies will only do what benefits them. That's, you know, they will only start moving their ass as long as they can get like a good review out of it, or a brand deal, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, it's just very important to actually like speak about it a lot in the community, and maybe try to reach out to like bigger creators who have more say in it, which is sad that that's the case. But that's how it worked in The Sims. So maybe we can try push it with Twitch as well, if people that have maybe a little bit more influence.
As far as I'm aware, most Twitch partners have a Twitch partnership manager. They will have somebody they
Yeah.
can report into, especially the biggest accounts will have a person they can speed dial, basically. And those are the people
Yeah.
I hope will, or have been, because we don't know what they've, like, not everyone's going to go, I did this, yay, way, well done me. I'm hoping some of those
Exactly.
people have spoken to people and said, hey, this, my hat is in the ring for this, like,
Right.
help.
Right. Exactly.
But I will say, I just checked, 6,687 people have voted. I think that's got to be one of the top upvoted things on the User Voice website. So that is cool to see.
Wow.
Also, all of Ace's reactions, I just want to gif every single one of them. The amount of times she's just been like, yeah! I'm just like, I need this. I need this
Right,
gif.
exactly.
I'm just
Right,
like,
like,
yeah!
I do have something to say real quick, because I want to acknowledge it, but like I like to apologize and move on, especially when it's not something that directly affects me. I didn't know that passing was not a good term, so thank you for educating me on that. Shiny.
Okay, just a brief on that. For some, it's kind of looked down upon in the trans community now.
Got it.
So
Got it.
because they don't want to feel like they have to pass to represent what they want to. But it just really just depends. For the most part, it's individualized. But I think generally now it's not as popular and accepted as it was like when I came out.
Yeah, absolutely fair. Either way,
Yep.
acknowledge that, and I am gonna learn from that. So thank you for sharing that.
That's all you can hope
No
to do.
problem.
You can't be a bad person for
Yeah.
not knowing something. So yeah, it's a great thing to learn. So I'm afraid we have actually come to the end of our section. I know we could keep talking forever, but we do have more streams coming up. I have the next 6 to 8 months minimum planned of big streams like this. The next one actually is going to be a BIPOC special, which I'm going to be looking for a co-host on. So I may end up messaging you, Ace. Just so
May I
you
just
know.
make one last point? Okay. Yeah, it's what when you think of it was Mystery saying about EA making their changes. It seems like that the biggest issue that we're dealing with right now is the onus is put on us to make the changes. Even though that they are the ones who have to make the changes at the end, it's like they're waiting for us to make a move. And we're making the moves and then they're not listening. Like EA, they were okay to not add that skin tone because they probably felt that the modding community was doing enough already.
Yeah.
But Twitch, like they have to make the move, so I guess what we need to do, since the onus is on us, as I said, is definitely talk to some of those bigger streamers because there probably are people who are allies, just haven't thought to step forward in this way. Because sometimes in order to be an ally, you need to get some guidance and know what can you do to help.
Definitely.
And that's how it is in general. Sometimes that's all you need is to know how you're needed.
Yeah.
And that was it.
No, perfectly said. Very well said. So, let's just start with Ace. Does anyone have any final thoughts they would like to add before we close out and go over to our last group of the day?
I just want to personally thank you for allowing me to be here and have this space because quite frankly, I was texting Shiny about how like nervous I was coming in here and how unprepared I felt like I was to represent myself and my community and the various intersectionalities that I represent. So thank you for allowing me to feel at home with the conversation and be my comedic, authentic self. I really, really do appreciate that. Additionally, I learned a few things here about passing and about I never thought about like allies, like us being allies within the community. So that was a dope thought.
Oh
So I just
yeah.
want to thank you for that. But
Awesome.
that's all I got. And also, I'm interested in that BIPOC conversation. So if you want to
Yes.
reach out to a homie,
I absolutely
atypical
will.
queer.
I absolutely will. Just a quick extra note on that, just because obviously present company included, it's relevant. The next one is BIPOC because we wanted to make this one BIPOC, obviously being closer to some of the horrendous shit that's happened. But we'd already promised it was going to be LGBTQ because some of the other horrendous shit that's happened. We can't do everything at the same time. But yes, the next one is going to be a BIPOC special. Obviously, I am a white person. I am not the right person to host this entire thing myself. Not that I am not a valid person. I don't have the right lived experience. I'm going to be finding a BIPOC co-host to come and work with me to make sure that I can be the best ally I can be and that there's actually representation and the right people in the right places to make sure everyone's going to learn the best things they can. But I'm also wanting to hear about charities we can support with that one as well. So I want to hear what's actually going to be good because especially like when it comes to like American charities and things like that, there's not a lot I know. I know a lot more about UK-based charities. So, and that goes for everyone in the chat as well. I want to hear from you because I want to be able to learn and be in a better position before we actually come to have that conversation because there would be nothing worse than like co-hosting something and being like, I am a dumb fuck. I know nothing right now. Like this,
I
like
have
yeah,
no
we don't want
clue
that.
what we're talking about.
yeah,
so-
exactly. Yeah, if I'm gonna, I've got to practice what I preach, and I've got to be a good ally to actually teach others to be a good ally. So, but yeah, I will definitely reach out, and if anyone wants to reach out to me because they're interested, you are all more than welcome to do so. Anyway, DMs are open and all that crap. But yes, thank you so much, Ace, and thank you for being here because it's been awesome to speak with you. And like your confidence just fucking exudes. I already knew it did, but I could not have told that you were
Yes.
nervous at all.
Yes, sis.
I could not have
Yes.
told
I
that you were nervous at all.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. I mean, the one thing I'll say about the confidence thing, it's more of a reflection of the space that you created that I was able to bring that out. So it's also
Absolutely
you.
this.
I'm glad to have been able to give you that then. I'm glad to have been able to. What about you, Mystery? Have you got anything you'd like to add before we move on to the next group?
Well, first of all, thanks for letting me be here, especially because Dragon was part of Group 1 and of the podcast also. And you guys kind of saw me in the first stream because I hugged him when he was very emotional. So people kind of knew me already, but like to put my face out of it, knowing that there's a lot of people watching now is kind of scary. But you know, it's I like to talk about these kind of things, so thank you for the opportunity. And yeah, just it has been great, and also to learn more about other people's, struggles, point of views, because I'm not trans. I don't know how it is. So to talk about people who are trans, my ex was trans, but I found out by reading one of his text messages when he was telling something someone else. It was I'm not even sure if he's trans. Like I know him as a him. He never came out to me, and like I find it sad that that's a struggle for people. Because
Yeah.
I'm like I'm so accepting of everyone. I don't know why he didn't feel comfortable enough to tell me that, and he
I will
I
say
don't
it's
know.
not necessarily a reflection of you though. Different people at different points in their
I know, I
journey.
know, I know.
Yeah.
It's just that I find it so sad that people are so internally scared of what people's reactions are. And just know that if you find the right people, you will be able to talk to them, but make sure you're safe. That's so important. Make sure you're in a safe place where, you don't get violence because of who you are. Like, it's so scary to think that that's actually a thing. I live in the Netherlands. There, we are kind of one of the front runners with like gay marriage and kind of those kind of things. So I'm actually very happy with that. Um, Fortunately, live here, even though I don't like it here. Those kind of rights were normal for me because gay marriage got normalized or legalized even when I was quite young. I don't even remember. And we were the first country worldwide. And I just hope for people watching that it will be legal for you at some point to be yourself. And just make sure you're safe. That's, that's the most important thing.
Very
You
important to
know,
highlight. Thank you, Mystery.
yeah.
Any thoughts from you, Shiny?
Yeah, first, thank you for, first of all, bringing all these people together, even in your other panels, for creating this platform, utilizing your platform and giving others a platform to provide representation on so many different aspects. I think it's great to have these open discussions, and thank you for letting me be a part of it, because that's a big deal to me. So I really appreciate that. Just some final thoughts, I guess, is to everyone who's been here and been watching and continues to watch and support. Um, I like to say to never forget that you always have a voice, and empowering and enlightening people around you and people new in your community is always going to be your biggest weapon, to create and make representation important and valid. And also for everyone else in chat, also again, thank you so much for all the kind words, and stay amazing, be amazing, and always do amazing things, because you're always going to be an amazing part of a part of this world.
Beautiful.
That's my
Thank
big
you very
brother.
much. And how about you, Ziggy?
Well, I definitely want to thank you for bringing me on here. I was actually really shocked when you asked me in the first place. I'm like, why me? I'm still new to this. I'm a freshly cracked egg.
Recently little hatched eggs are just as valid as
Yeah, I'm
old
still a
eggs.
little
No.
chickadee. Oh, my character doesn't whistle very well. Okay. Anyway,
Very happy.
yeah, she's
Yatta.
Yeah, hopefully next time I show up on a stream, I'll have something a little more customized for me. But anyway, uh, shoot, I had something I was gonna say, and it was gonna like link onto what Shiny was saying, and I've forgotten what it is. Give me a sec.
Don't you worry. There was one thing I wanted to bring up as well. It's just we were going to have another person on this group because you will notice it's one short, apart from Zuri who had to pop out earlier, and that is the incredible Hobo House, who unfortunately is ill and wasn't able to be here today. But they are an incredible person, a stunning artist. And I know that they sometimes feel that their work doesn't get seen by so many people, but if you've ever seen Coraline, the film Coraline, or liked any of that kind of artwork,
Their style
you
is
will be
amazing.
stunned. You will be stunned.
Yeah.
They put so much hard work, and they also do panels like this based around like self-care and understanding. They are a system with I have to make sure I say it correctly. Dissociative identity disorder, I believe, is the correct term. Just to be sure. If I'm not, I'm sure. I hope somebody will correct me. They are a beautiful person. I wish they could have been here, but I would really much rather they were at home being, looked after and made sure that they are safe. But yes, they've just put the link in the chat, one of my mods. I didn't see who it was, sorry. But they are absolutely fantastic, and I would love you to go over and show some love. Because even though they couldn't be here, they've made such a mark on me. And I really wish they could see how much so many more people loved them, and I would love people to. I'd love them to like log on to Twitch next week and be like, "What the fuck? Where did all these people come
What
from?"
happened?
Yeah, like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So yes,
I was looking so forward to meet them, but it's sad that,
yeah. But again,
it happens, and
yeah,
I just feel I hope they feel better soon.
Yeah.
And
there will always be more
would have been a
time.
pleasure to have met them.
All right, and Ziggy, did you find your
Yeah,
other thought?
Yeah, my other thought it landed by the wayside, but I found it, and then Face Rig crashed. So
Awesome.
it's okay. You can just look at my static image. Oh, I'm moving.
There
Okay,
you go.
cool.
You got it.
Anyway, okay. So first of all, thank you for creating this space. Aside from the fact that there's the representation, there's the messaging. Like, I did not see a single troll come in this entire thing so far, knock on wood. But that says so much about the community that you have built. That you've brought in people who are truly like that they're basically you made a community of very good people. People who are true to themselves and true to others. And when I come back to streaming, I want to be able to emulate that. I want to be that person who people can come to and they know that it'll be a place that is safe for them, a place that is cozy, a place that they can be their most genuine self. Because if you can't be yourself, who are you?
Very fair.
Ooh, that's deep.
Yeah, and thank you very much. That is very kind. I was just about to say my mods have done an amazing job, but then my lead mod, Osric, has just said, no, we've not actually had to delete any comments. So it's like, oh, awesome. But I will
that's
say,
great.
Wow.
without them
That's
having here,
awesome.
there would not be a safety net if something shit did happen. So I would like to massively thank my mods who are still here. They've been here literally since we started setting up this morning. So we've still got another 2 hours, and I know they're pretty much going to still be here. And they, like Osric's saying, they've done bugger all, but I have seen this chat keep moving the entire time, and all the links keep posting, and everyone's information keep being posted, which wouldn't happen because my brain died and I forgot to even tweet about the event being live. But the mods have made sure everything has been looked after, so thank you so much, because mods aren't paid. They give their time freely to help and to protect us all, so fucking thank you all. And to, like...
10 hours, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing.
It's yeah, thank you.
I couldn't. So,
And
applause.
the last thing I will say before I have to say goodbye to you lovely peoples, but only for tonight, not forever, is we did hit 1.5k for mermaids.
Yeah.
There we go.
Awesome.
Let's go. Let's
Hell
go.
yes.
Amazing.
We've got another 2 hours. I don't know if we'll make 2 grand in 2 hours, but what's 2 grand? 1 grand in 2 hours, but who who knows? It could happen. But even so, that money is going to do so much good
Yeah.
for trans, gender non-conforming youth and their families, because they all need support. And again, not knowing something doesn't make you a bad person. Reaching out to a charity that can help you look after your kid and make sure they have a good, safe environment to grow up in. That's the best thing I think we can give to people, younger people like us, is to make sure they don't have to have some of the negative experiences some of us have had, and to mean that they can keep getting help. So yeah, thank you all so much for your incredibly generous donations. It means a lot. It means a lot. But right, I'm afraid I have to say goodbye to these wonderful people. Thank you all so much for being here. We will catch up again soon. And we will be back with the next group. Bye!
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello again, friends. Well, another song has been requested, so I shall sing it while we are just getting the last few peoples together. I think we are nearly there, which is excellent. We're on the last 2 hours. Another song has been redeemed. Let me have a look. We are at an incredible £1,500. Let's see how far we can push that throughout the last couple of hours, but I am excited. All right, and again, thank you all so much for the follows, for the raids. Electric, I did see you, but I couldn't, basically because we're going to be uploading these bits to YouTube later, I've been trying not to call out too many sort of things that have been happening throughout so that they go up, as untouched as possible, you know what I mean. But yes, I shall sing a song while I get the last few things done, and then we will be carrying on. Luckily, I have water this time. All right, so Zotoy has redeemed a sing. And Odzeric would like, will the circle be unbroken? Alrighty. Okay. There are loved ones in the glory whose dear forms you often miss when you close your earthly story.